So the first question has to do with negative punishment. And this has to do with them trying to use negative punishment. Remember, negative punishment is where taking something away from the child that's going to decrease a behavior, okay? And so the parent is trying to decrease, and I'm not sure what behaviors they're actually trying to decrease, but they're doing it by taking away the child's favorite toy. Problem it looks like is that the child just doesn't care. Like, oh, okay, you take one thing away from me, I'm just kind of happy playing with all my other toys. The parent doesn't quite know what to do in this instance because the child just doesn't seem to care about that one particular toy that gets taken away, and then, you know, each subsequent toy, because I guess there's another one to replace it. There's not a straightforward answer here. There is a more of a, oh, you have to really know your child, and you really have to know what is meaningful to your child. Different kids respond to situations differently, okay? And so this is where the skill in applying these techniques that we're talking about really comes into play, because you really have to understand your child and understand what's really meaningful to them. Some kids respond better to reinforcement. Some kids respond better to certain types of punishment and not to others. In this instance here, what you want to figure out is, and I don't have the information on hand, is how long are the toys being actually taken away from them? You know, like, oh, so they did something wrong. You take that favorite item away from them. How long is it gone? You know, is it gone for a couple hours? Is it gone for the rest of the day? Is it gone for a couple of days? You know, like, what does that look like? That is not clear here. What is being taken away? Is it like the one item that they're playing with? Is it a set? You know, so like, let's say that one of their favorite toys is like a train track with a lot of Thomas the Tank Engines or those type of characters, okay? So when they lose it, do they lose the whole thing, or do they only lose one item in that thing? You know, myself, I tend to say, oh, when they lose it, they lose the entire set for usually a day. This is where they're going to have to play around with it a little bit and make adjustments to how they're implementing it. But most of the time, with any kind of implementation of an intervention, you want to at least dedicate a couple of weeks to it to see how it's actually affecting the behavior you're trying to get rid of, you know, because there's always a reaction to changes in the very beginning. And you want to settle down and see actually, okay, what is actually happening to the behavior after we're very consistent with implementing it for a period of time. It could be that your child just doesn't care that much about things being taken away from them. Okay, and we have had kids like that, in which case you're going to have to explore other methods of consequenting the child for their misbehavior. I've talked about this story before, but I figure it bears repeating here. We had a child that was misbehaving with spelling certain words that we knew he was able to do. And for him, we had a reinforcement in place, which is like a Twinkie that they get to eat if he did it all correctly. Okay. And when he started to mess around, we would break off and break off and break off the Twinkie until he had a tiny portion, like a tiny little bit. But he was just happy getting that small little bit. However, once we changed the intervention to, oh, we break it off and then we eat it in front of him. Oh no, then he wasn't having it. It was fine before if we broke it off and threw it in the trash. However, if we broke it off and we ate it in front of him, that was it. That was enough to motivate this kid. So you might need to just change some of the things that you're doing to make sure that it matters to the child.